Hello, namaskar, namaskara, namaskaram, namaskar. My name is Pooja Dwivedi. Welcome to my class. Today we are going to discuss the curious case of Seema Haider. Is this a love story beyond borders, or it is more of a serious case of infiltration? We are going to discuss it from the perspective of the UPSC examination. The specific papers that are related to this topic, I will talk about that as well. But I do not expect you to make notes in my class. Why? Because I provide you the PDF on my Telegram channel. So what I expect from you is to give me undivided attention in this particular class so that you can analyze and become opinionated, a balanced opinionated person, and not just somebody who is influenced by the general media. So this is my Telegram channel, Pooja Dwivedi StudyIQ UPSC. If you have any doubts regarding this examination or whatever I teach in the class, you can talk to me on my Instagram channel as well. This is the Telegram channel and that is the Instagram channel. See, yesterday I asked you a question to which many of you have answered, and I will take the names of those on the leaderboard. But let's solve it together. Yesterday's topic was related to NATO. So, with respect to the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, consider the following. Article 5 of the treaty has been invoked only once. Sweden will become the 32nd member, and no country since its formation has left the alliance. So, what do we have to see? How many statements given above is or are not correct? Article 5, which calls for collective defense. That means if there is attack on any one country of the NATO, it will be considered as an attack on all of the countries. So all of the countries can send their forces in order to support that particular country of the NATO. And yes, it has been invoked only once. That was the case of 9/11 when the World Trade Center fell down. Okay, so remember, the first statement is correct. Sweden has been given a go-ahead by all the members of NATO. Turkey wasn't happy with it, but later on Turkey said, okay, go, you can become a part of us. So yes, it will become the 32nd member soon. If we talk about the 31st member, it was Finland. And Finland and Sweden both actually said, they applied for the membership together. Finland's was accepted faster, but Sweden's was delayed because of Turkey's interference. And no country since its formation has left the alliance. This shows us the relevance of NATO even after so many years. It was established in the year 1949. Security threat has been such a big issue that no country has until now left this alliance. So all the three statements are definitely correct. So the correct answer would be none, because none are not correct. See, this is the leaderboard I have. Simran, specifically Mansi, I would like to mention because she has properly given the reasons why she's choosing that answer. Shubham, Richard, Vidisha, Malinath, Abhishek, as well as Sandhya. Congratulations. Now, to those who are watching this particular class, stay with me. I will provide you another question to which you can answer it in my comment segment. Okay. So what is the news is that this woman by the name of Seema Haider, she fell in love with Sachin Meena. He's from Noida. And when they fell in love through PUBG years back, they thought of getting married, and they did in Nepal. She came to India illegally. That means she did not have a valid visiting visa. Also, even if she had, she stayed beyond her permit limit. This case was flagged allegedly by a neighbor of Sachin Meena. Although Sachin's family have accepted her, but she says that if she is deported back to Pakistan, she will slit her throat. That is not our concern right now, as in we do not have to talk about that, the spicy part. Let's leave it to the media. But we have to talk about the constitutional, legal and diplomatic aspects of it. Also, I will try to tell you about kangaroo courts. The kangaroo courts who are giving trial by media. That means they are trying to bring out all the information about this woman so that they can set up a mock court that like they did for Sushant Singh Rajput. Similarly, it is being done for her. But we have to understand, as future bureaucrats, these kangaroo courts are not in the favor of democracy. So let us first of all see, she is from Pakistan. She was married to Ghulam Haider. She has 4 children, but she says that her husband, she could not even bear the sight of him because of domestic violence. And he also works outside Pakistan, so she did not see him for 4 years part. So she wanted to come to India. Why? because she played PUBG and through that she fell in love with Sachin Meena. Now she had this very intellectual thing going on in her mind. She knew that if she wants to go to India, there will be many things that she will come across, because it is not easy for any person from Pakistan to get a visa for India because of obvious reasons. I don't want to say that right now. But she took a lot of information from YouTube on how to come to India. That is our digital aspect as well. How infiltrators can use technology to infiltrate India. She went to Dubai. From there, she came to Nepal. And as we know, according to the Article 7 of the Treaty of Friendship, the Nepal and India's border, it is porous in nature. That means to and fro of people can happen without visa. So, through here, she came to Noida. Okay. And the problem is that she went unchecked for so many months. It was later on that through the interception of a mobile, it could be found out that she is residing illegally in a house. It doesn't matter to us if she is in love. It doesn't matter to us if Sachin's family have accepted them. That is the humanitarian perspective. But as a sovereign country, India has to take care of crores of people who are living here. And if there is an infiltrator, we do not know anything of her. So that poses a threat. We cannot just jump to the conclusion that she's an ISI agent, which the kangaroo courts are doing. We cannot do that, but it is a serious case of infiltration. So, GS paper 2, we are going to talk about citizenship, the legal aspects of a stay. What can India do? How can India deport her or detain her? What about illegal immigrants? Can she be given citizenship? Diplomatic relations, detention or deportation, it will happen eventually. And how will it work with Pakistan? We have to see that. Because Ghulam Haider has asked the Prime Minister that he wants his wife back. Now, this is a very curious case. Then, porous border we have with Nepal, we are going to talk about that as well. Human trafficking, smuggling, what not takes place through that. We are going to talk about that as well. Challenges to internal security. As I said, we do not know anything of her. Maybe she is fooling everybody, maybe she is not, but we are not going to jump to conclusion. But when there is a doubt, when it comes to internal security, the threat is imminent and we cannot take risk from that perspective. And there is also an ethical challenge. Should the kangaroo courts, I'm talking about the media, who just shout and shout and shout at in news channels and different news channels and set up a mock court by themselves without proper training, and they start calling out people baseless things, eventually it will be a threat to her security. Finally, if we go at the eventual basis of her existence, she is a human. If she has to be deported, wouldn't her life be threatened in Pakistan? Just think about that. So life is very important. We have to understand that it is promised under Article 21 to anybody in our country. Remember that. Now, let's talk about illegal immigration. What is it? It has been defined by the Citizenship Act of 1955. An illegal immigrant is a foreigner who has come to India with forged documents and or with no valid documents and or they have stayed beyond their visa. This is the definition of illegal immigrant. And Seema Haider fits all the categories. A person who stays beyond the visa permit is also one of them. Okay, remember that. The thing is that the options are myriad. If we find an illegal immigrant in India, what can we do as a country? Under Section 3 of the Foreigners Act of 1946, India, the central government specifically, has all the powers to deport illegal foreign nationals. Go back to your country. According to Section 5 of the Passport Entry into India Act of 1920, the state, it has been told to the states to remove an illegal foreigner by force if need be. So force can also be used. Then it all comes down to Article 258 Clause 1 of the Constitution of India, under which instructions such as this has been given to many states for many years, like how we have to deal with illegal immigrants. Powers have been identified to the police as well. The police authorities can exercise the powers to arrest a foreign national living illegally in India in terms of Section 4 of the Passport Act of 1920. Any foreign national who remains in any area in India for a period exceeding the period for which the visa was issued to him or her can be proceeded against, there can be cases against them under Section 14 of the Foreigners Act of 1946. So, it has been properly said by the center to the states that you all have to be vigilant when it comes to this. Article 239, Clause 1 of the Constitution says, the administrators of all union territories have also been directed to discharge the functions of the central government relating to the aforesaid powers. Now, you must be thinking that because she says that please let me stay over here, there is a lot of domestic violence that is going on in my country, the women's status of women is not very positive in my country, so give me refuge. India can say no. How? Because India is not a signatory to the 1951 Refugee Convention or its 1967 protocol that takes us back to Rohingyas. Although we have not signed any convention, but still, because of our cultural roots, we are open to everybody. But in this case, when it comes to the infiltration part, this is not acceptable. India can send her back any time. Okay? Consular access has been also, asked by Pakistan. India is okay with it, but Seema Haider says, I do not want to talk about it. Then, in September 2015 and 16, according to the according to the Citizenship Act of 1955, it is important that a person who wants to register as a citizen in India, even if they are from Pakistan, they have to reside in India for a continuous period of 11 years. Seema Haider does not fit into that category. Now let's talk about another section, which is of course this particular notification. In September 2015-2016, July 2016, the central government exempted certain groups of illegal migrants from being imprisoned or deported. Now, these are illegal migrants who came into India from Afghanistan, Bangladesh or Pakistan. The cutoff date is December 31st, 2014. And these are the persecuted minorities: Buddhist, Sikhs, Jains, Hindus, Parsi or Christian religious community. And after that, we had the Citizenship Amendment Act of 2019, which amended the Citizenship Act of 1955 by reducing the period of continuous stay. See, it inserts December 31st, 2014 as a cutoff date for these 6 communities from 3 countries, Pakistan, Bangladesh and Afghanistan, to be eligible to get Indian citizenship. Why? These are minorities in their respective countries. Seema Haider is not. So she, falls behind on this also. She is a Muslim. She has been converted. She says that she has converted to Hinduism. But in her own country, she is not a minority. Okay. So that makes her fall out of this criteria as well. And I am trying to tell you over here, as these minorities were persecuted in their countries and they were living in India for a long period of time, it was a duty under Article 21 that we give them citizenship. So that is why this cutoff date was provided. Okay. And it will not apply to tribal areas of Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura and Mizoram as included in the 6th schedule of the Constitution, as well as Arunachal Pradesh, Mizoram and Nagaland, which are protected by the inner line permit. Remember, Northeast has 8 states. Then, all cases against a non-Muslim illegal immigrant before any authority, including foreign tribunals, were also extinguished. It also enabled a person who doesn't have the proof of birth of its parents in support of his being of Indian origin to apply for citizenship by naturalization. Naturalization is a process by which we accept any foreigner as Indian citizen on completing 6 years of residency. Okay, this was reduced. Earlier it was 11 years, now it became 6 years and the cutoff date was also that. Okay, moving on. Now let's talk about the porous border that India has with Nepal. The demarcation of India-Nepal border took place 200 years ago when the Treaty of Sugauli was signed between the Gorkhas and British India. And after India started its diplomatic relationship after independence, according to Article 5 of the Indo-Nepal Treaty of Peace and Friendship of 1951, it was suggested, let's keep our borders open because both these countries did not have any sort of threat from each other. Any threat wasn't there because of cultural relation, historical roots. So border areas were kept open. And Nepal shares its borders with Uttarakhand, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, West Bengal, and Sikkim. So these were the many states. But because both the governments of Nepal and India did not have any interest in the border regions, a lot of investment couldn't be done in these border areas, so people remained poor. Then, in 2001, it was suggested that we should have a Sahastra Seema Bal. And this was established in the year 2001, which takes care of the Nepal's border with different Indian states, the 5 Indian states. Also from the Nepalese side, we have armed police force. Because this area saw, because it was a porous border, smuggling, human trafficking, infiltration of militants as well, who were training on foreign soil. And it is not the first case that Seema Haider has come. Ikra was a woman who also entered through Nepal. Chinese nationals have entered through Nepal. So there is a problem with Nepalese border. India and the Nepal government, they should sit together and talk very diligently about this matter. Okay? And now recently it was decided that we should increase the spending on the border. CCTV cameras, border fencing could be done, proper vigilance could be kept so that these kind of cases do not occur anymore. See, as I told you that Seema has not been the first case. Earlier on January 23rd of this particular year, Ikra, who was from Pakistan's Hyderabad, she was arrested by security agencies from Bangalore. Similar story, love story, but she was deported. And according to the Citizenship of India Act, any foreign national, whether Pakistani, see, this I have written why? Because of the case of Adnan Sami. Adnan Sami was on a visitor's visa, but when his visa was ending, he asked for, visa from the Pakistan government, but they denied it. So he sought asylum in India. But as he was residing in India for the stipulated period of time, he was given visa. He was given citizenship. So that is why it is important for any person to complete the criteria, to check the criteria, then they can be given citizenship according to the Citizenship Act of 1955. Now let's talk about the trial by Indian media. Indian media has immense power and influence over people. So when it does its thing, it is seen correct by many of us. We think whatever the journalists are saying is correct. We think whatever the process they are taking is correct. This is the immense power that the media, Indian media, has in our country. So they try to spice it up by setting mock courts, putting mics on people, making them fight with each other to gain TRP, and we think yes, this is the correct way to go. This is really healthy for our brains. We should watch it more. But it is not correct. Although we know nothing of Seema Haider, it is wrong to right now say that she is an ISI agent. Many baseless allegations have been, put on her. Her brother is in army. Maybe this is true. As she says, it is true. But how does that make her an ISI agent? She says that she sold her plot for 12 lakh Pakistani rupee and then she came to India. She is not even in touch with her family. But the thing is that, should we right now label her? This is not our job. This is the job of the government agencies. Government agencies are sitting there for a reason. Now, that threatens her security, not only in India, but abroad as well. And if she's by any prohibition, her life is threatened in India, that can create a lot of problem between India and Pakistan. So remember that these are kangaroo courts. These are those sort of courts which provide a mock court settlement so that they can put blatant allegations on a predetermined judgment. Somebody like Seema, she has already been labeled as an ISI agent. Now they will try to pose questions to her which can cause harm to her security in her own country once she is deported. Okay. Also, this word kangaroo court, although it originated in Australia, but it was for the first time ever used in the California gold rush of 1849 in the USA. And by misusing Article 19, freedom of speech and expression, the bodies, media bodies seldom fail to understand that they have ethical responsibility as well. It is not their job, it is the job of the government agencies and the proper courts. Also, we have to understand the impact of it. It has the impact on judicial functioning. If we remember the case of Sushant Singh Rajput, I cannot emphasize enough the blatant misuse of power so many journalists did in the entire process. It is not their job. It is the job of the courts. Let them do their job. If you are going to pronounce judgments on the media, people were already enraged. Emotions are such thing that they can seldom hijack our logical thinking. That is something that happens with everybody. But responsibility lies on the media as well. So first, it impacts the normal process of judiciary. We predetermine everybody to be, offenders if it is not even proven in the courts. What has actually been done, we will never know until and unless proper investigation takes place. So, as bureaucrats, we have to be very free-minded. Then, unable to distinguish fake and real. The lack of awareness in this country, specifically after the emergence of social media, whatever they see, they think it is totally correct without even fact checking. PIB even came up with this fact check that please check the facts before you forward any WhatsApp message. This is our responsibility. Logical thinking. Question everything. Don't just consume, question it as well. If it is correct or not, if it is coming from the right source or not. So this is what we have to see. Wrongful portrayal, it plays a lot. See, if supposedly somebody has been labeled as an offender or allegations that have been given on them has not been proven as of yet. But if in case that person is acquitted later on, how will we compensate for the reputation that has already been lost? So this is the wrongful portrayal as well. It is not good for the democracy because we have to remember dharma is something that everybody should follow. Dharma means not religion here. It means do your job correctly. Let others do their job correctly and you do your job correctly. This is dharma. This is upholding of the dharma. So this is what our constitution says. Let courts do their job, let legislature do their job, let the executive do their job, and let the media do their job. That is providing information and not giving trials. Also, it instigates hatred and violence. Right now, everybody in the country, almost everybody, thinks that she is an ISI spy. We do not know if she is or she is not. But right now, just because it has been told to everybody that she's an ISI spy on literally every sort of baseless things. If she cannot read Kalma, she is an ISI agent. If she has her brother in the army, then she is an ISI agent. This is not the way to go. Be aware enough that what is correct and what is not. This is not their job. And right to privacy is harmed a lot. Although in this particular case, I would like to say about Seema Haider that when it comes to the collective good or the collective security of all, right to privacy is a cost that the other person has to pay. So this does not stand in this case because the collective security is threatened right now because we do not know how many infiltrations in this similar manner can take place. Now let's talk about this particular batch that we have launched. This is a batch, if you have missed the earlier two batches of P2I, Prelims to Interview, we have come up with the evening batch as well for the July month, and this will provide you important, everything that is of importance for P2I, Prelims test series, mains test series, live classes will be there. I will be interacting you through the classes, and of course, mentorship, study material, everything is given. A mains residential program for those students who are going to qualify Prelims 2024 and who are enrolled in this batch. Hindi, English, 3 different batches are there. If you are going to take admission, do it as soon as possible so that we can send you the books. And please use the code PDLIVE once you are going to take the admission through the website. And this evening batch will start from 22nd July at 6 p.m. The courses are available just for 29,999. Please do use the code. Now let's move on to the prelims question that I formulated. Again, answering it correctly will get you through the leaderboard. Consider the following statements with respect to the Citizenship Amendment Act of 2019. It aims to provide citizenship for six communities from Pakistan, Afghanistan, Nepal and Bangladesh. It doesn't apply to all the northeastern states of India. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? Okay, so answer it correctly. I will take your names in the upcoming segment. Thank you so much for watching.